You know, this entire week has been, well, running backs, they need to form their own union. Huh? Well, Saquon Barkley, he needs to not play. Huh? Just so we're aware, okay, Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs and Tony Pollard. 3 talented running backs, 3 fairly young running backs. All 3, by the way, and do not get this twisted. If you're a scroller every morning, or if you're listening to sports radio, or you're watching sports on TV, if you listen to most of what you've heard, not everything with Colin, not everything with J-Mac, okay, but most everything, you will feel like the Cowboys, Raiders, and Giants said, hey, bud, we don't really want you. Here's an offer. Here's the money. Take it or leave it. That's not what happened. The Giants made an offer to Saquon Barkley months ago at a reported $12 million a year guaranteed, probably 2.5 years. Josh Jacobs slightly below that number. Hey, and we don't know about Tony Pollard either. But the idea is it's a negotiation. I want an extension. Okay, we'd like to keep you. I'd like, some sort of guarantee in the future. Sure, we'd love to give you that. But we're not just going to overpay you, because in every running backs, the average NFL career is about 3.9 years. The average NFL running back's career is 2.9 years. And, oh yeah, by the way, give me a second contract. That's a good contract. Right? What are the big second contracts people are playing on right now? Christian McCaffrey wasn't hurt first 3 years, all banged up ever since. Alvin Kamara, unbelievable new age running back, wide receiver. How much has he been banged up? And then you go through the Chiefs actually drafted a first-round draft pick, but it was a 7th-round draft pick that helped them win a Super Bowl. But regardless of which, this is the real conversation. Okay? If you know me and you know my background, I'm Doug Gottlieb in for Colin. It's the Herd on Fox Sports Radio and the iHeartRadio app. Obviously, I was a basketball player. I come from a basketball family. I've used it, and this is my 20th year in national sports radio where we cover all sports. But my area of expertise obviously has been basketball. And it's interesting. I haven't heard one person, not a soul, complain about traditional centers being either out of the NBA or having their contracts aren't growing at the rate of Brad Beal. They're not like, you'd show me a traditional center. Right? Jahlil Okafor, Roy Hibbert. Heck, in college basketball, the last 2 years, Oscar Tshiebwe and Zach Edey. I came out of college in the year 2000. Had they come out those years, they would have been lottery picks. So Zach Edey returns to college because he wouldn't be a first-round draft pick. When they get to the NBA, they oftentimes have a cup of coffee and then they're off to Europe. I haven't heard anybody go, centers need to have their own union. No, the game has evolved. We're going to punish NFL teams for getting smart with their money and not making long-term investments for short-term buys? That, by the way, is the dumbest stuff people ever utter. Only to be topped by the latest and greatest from Saquon Barkley. Because what Saquon Barkley is doing is what some of us have tried. Okay? And what do you mean? I'll explain in a second. Saquon Barkley yesterday scrubbed his social media account of the New York Giants. Doesn't happen. If it's not on social media, it's not happening. It's like a relationship, right? If you're not in a relationship on social media, you're not in a relationship. You're not social media official. And, of course, this is a move that we've seen from Kyler Murray, most famously. And, you go through the laundry list. Guys in a contract negotiation. Didn't Quinnen Williams do that with the Jets this year as well? Right, I don't have Jets on my website, on my Twitter handle. By the way, did he have a Thread handle? Or did he just sign up for Threads and then not use it like the rest of us? Because that's kind of what's happened, right? I was on Thread for a day, and then I didn't really know how to use the GIFs, and nobody else moved on, and I went back to Twitter. Anyway, Saquon, bruh, what are you doing? And I understand what somebody might think, like, hey, his only leverage is not playing, is not showing up. But is it really leverage? Because if you actually know the rules, and this is where the hard conversations come in, you want to sit him down and go like, Saquon, here's the thing. Even if the Giants woke up this morning and John Mara, the owner of the Giants, had this epiphany, I have to have Saquon Barkley. There's not a penny that I will not spend. What we were at 12, he was at 14, hell, give him 15. If he just said, you know what, the negativity's too much, I want to give him $15 million. Do you know what the Giants can do? Nothing. There's a rule in the NFL. There was a deadline. It was Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern. Either a contract extension is signed or you have to play under the franchise tag. The only option would be they could pull that franchise tag and then he could become a free agent. Well, why would the Giants do that? Well, they don't like him. No, that's not true. They love Saquon Barkley. They offered him franchise tag, $10 million, which, by the way, do people know they can do the exact same thing next year? No negotiation. They can get done with the season, go like, oh, you don't want a contract extension, or we don't want you. Here's another one. It'll probably be about the same money. Might actually be less money next year. They have leverage. He has none. Because leverage is if I do this, I get something. What does he get? Every day he doesn't sign that contract once the season begins, he loses money. And if he doesn't play the entire year, he loses that year. And guess what? The Giants can do the same thing next year. And then they have 2 years of a franchise tag by rule. What Saquon Barkley is doing, and have you ever done this? Like, you get your summer grades, you're like, oh, dude. And you realize, I got a B+, okay, in accounting. And I was like, there was one paper I didn't do. I just blew off. I was like, it's worth like 1% of your grade. But you had a 89.5. You're like, oh my God, had I just turned in that one paper, even at half credit, I would have a 90, I'd have an A, and that would be a 4 in my GPA, and then I'd be eligible. And then I would be on the honor roll or whatever. And you go to the professor and you're like, hey, is there anything I can do? And they're like, yes, you could have done this before the deadline. We turned in your grades. There's nothing you can do, dude. Right? Saquon Barkley, there's nothing we can do. You can scrub all that crap you want off the New York Giants. If you play football next year, it's going to be on the franchise tag. It's going to be for the New York Giants. Not just if you want it, if they want it. That's the rule. Who made that rule? Actually, your union did. How long is that rule in place for? 7 more years. Well, we need to renegotiate. No, the NFL is never renegotiating something. That's not the way it works. Right? Any contract in life, okay, once you sign on the line that is dotted, that ink dries, that's it. Right? Ariel tried that. Remember? Little Mermaid? Huh? Once you sign the line that's dotted, that's it. It's over. And again, by rule. So please stop with other people in the media. Right? Jay Williams at ESPN, he plays golf with them. He's like, oh, that's his leverage. That's not leverage, dude. Going to sit a whole year. He's going to do the Le'Veon Bell, and then, oh, yeah, by the way, how does it work by rule for the Giants? And just a redo of this year where they can franchise tag him. He has no leverage, but he hasn't played for a year. And then, oh, yeah, by the way, after that year, they need to have another year of being a franchise taggee. It's over. The only thing left to do is, what do they say in Princess Bride, right? Go through their pockets for loose change. That's it. It's over. This thing is done. You're a Giant. You're playing for $10.09 million. Go out, have a great year, try to negotiate so that if you have a great year, maybe you get that contract extension you always wanted. Probably don't. And you know what? If the Giants don't like how you're doing business, but they like you as a football player, they can do it again. But these are hard conversations that we no longer will have. Even when everybody in professional sports knows you have 90 guys, you got to cut them to 53. These are realities. And when we stop lying to people because we like them, we like Saquon Barkley. He's like Legatron, right? Like dude's the most yoked guy ever. He seems like a great guy. This has nothing to do with liking you, not liking you, respecting you, not respecting you. This is business. This is a contract. You're going back to the professor when the grades are already done and saying, wait, what if I... Sorry, dude. We can't do anything even if we wanted to.